Hello, my name is Carmel. I posted a cover of a Young the Giant song called Apartment, probably in like about 2014, and people asked me to give the tabs and I never did. So I'm going to do a little instructional video to the best of my ability, and I'm going to try to put some little visuals on it so it's a little easier to understand. This isn't electric, but you can play this acoustically. Usually I would play it acoustically, actually. I learned this partly by ear and partly by looking up tabs. I basically made my own little version, so it might not be correct, but it sounds good. Good enough for me. So, okay, so it sounds, the first part we're going to do is this whole chunk. So this first chord, not very technical. I don't actually really know what this chord would be considered, but what you're going to do is you're basically only going to play 3 strings as best as you can. So you'll take your middle finger, this is what I do, put it on the 5th fret of the A string. Then with your pointer finger, you kind of bar the 4th fret on the D and the G string, so both of those. If you don't know the names of the strings, the fattest one is E, and then they go A, D, G, B, and E up to the skinniest one. So I went a little bit quick, but you can take notes if you need to. So you do that. It should sound like that. That's your first chord. I don't know what it is. Something funky. So then we're going to do... They're basically a bunch of jazz chords, barred chords. So this is like if you took an A7 down here, this little triangular shape. But you played it with those bottom 3 and you just slide it up. But you add this bass note on the D. So it's going to be some kind of D major 7. So you're doing that. Just to dissect that a little further if you need it, your pointer finger goes on the bass note of the chord, which is the D, or the root note, whatever you want to call it, 5th fret of the A string. Then you use your 3rd finger, or the ring finger, on the 7th fret, the next one. Then on the next string, your middle finger on the 6th fret. Then your pinky goes on the 5th fret of that B string. So it should sound like that. Alright. So far, you only do that one. Then you slide that exact chord down to the 3rd fret. So you'd be on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th frets with this chord. So it's like dun, dun, na, 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 wah, wah, na, na, na. Okay, then you're going to do another funky little piece of a chord, like a triad, if you will, of sorts. So you're going to put your ring finger on the 9th fret, then bar with your pointer finger the 7th fret on the next 2 strings. Oh geez. I think that's technically considered a triad. My music theory is a little bit rusty, but you know, we're getting the basics down. So it'll go. Okay, and then we're gonna do an A7 bar chord. So you'll bar at the 5th fret. Hopefully you can do bar chords if you're watching this. If you can't, this song will be challenging, but you can do it. So the barred chord follows this, like the major 7 shape. So basically if you took like an E major 7 and then you moved it up to the 5th fret. So you'll put it all together. Okay, this is the next one, is a D7. So you'll bar the 5th fret still, so it's not that hard of a change. Barring the 5th fret still. So we went from here, remember? Now D7. So you'll bar the 5th fret, put your middle finger on the 7th fret of the D string, and your ring finger on the 7th fret of the B string. Then we return to the funky chord in the beginning. So it'll be like... a little wonky. So yeah, when you're doing these bars like that are in the middle of the fretboard that aren't really a barred chord, just watch where your fingers go because you could get wiggly and mess it up. So now for the strumming pattern of this part. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Essentially, it's not in 4, 5, 5, 4, 4, 5. It's not in a funny time signature. It's just kind of how you think of it. It's like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So it's like ba da 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 1 1 na 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 1 1 na 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 1 1 na 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 na. That's really technical. I mean, think of it however it helps you. It's all downstrokes the way that I play it. Sometimes I do like a chicka-cha in the middle. See how I'm kind of doing that? Ba-da-da-da-da, chicka-cha, chicka-cha, da-da-da-da, chicka-cha, chicka-da-da-da-da. But you know, it's up to you. Put your own little funk on it. So that's the first part. Hopefully you've got that down. I'll do it one more time slow. Okay, so that's the after leaving my apartment, ba-dum, ba-da, right, that whole part. So then there's the I hit the sidewalk. So this one is a little bit trickier. Well, a little. I say a little, alright? So earlier when we did this D major 7 of sorts, this chord, you will take that same shape, this little triangle, you'll move it up to the 12th and 11th fret. So the G, the D, the G, and the B, you will play 12, 11, 12. And you will add the bass note, which is on the 10th fret of the low E string. And you're going to kind of mute this A string with your pointer finger a little bit so that it doesn't make sound. This funky chord. Now we're going to do a diminished chord. You'll put your middle finger on the 5th fret of the E string, your pointer finger, the first finger, on the 4th fret of the D string, your ring finger, or the 3rd finger, on the 5th fret of the G, and for your pinky, you will put the 5th fret of the B. Once again, you want to kind of block that A string. Don't play it. It sounds a little... I mean, it sounds okay. It's like the same note that you're playing with your middle finger. I mean, so it just doubles it, but whatever you want to do. So then you're going to go C major 7. So we did this earlier. Remember the triangle shape with the C as the bass note, pointer finger? Then G major. So when you put it together, alright, I'm popping in on myself to make an edit. So I put that funky little diminished chord. You don't have to do it like that. You can do it a little different if you like how it sounds. You can do I hit the sidewalk. Now this chord, I don't know what it's called either. So it has the same last 3 notes. So it's just, instead of having your middle finger on this 5th fret of the E, you can put it on the 5th fret of the A and not play the E string. So it gives it like a more major, like a brighter feel. But you're still gonna finish with the C major 7 to the A or G. So there you go. Okay, so the strumming. So we've got this. It's kind of like, you can do any kind of combo of ups and downs for this part that's comfortable for you. I think doing all downstrokes does work for the first chord. So it's like, so you can do that. And then I go down, up, up, down, up, of sorts. And then down, 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 chicka, down, 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 down. So if we put it all together now. After leaving my apartment, I feel this cold inside me. It howls away all through the market. It calls your name. Ho, ho. Right, so you keep going. Wow, wow, now, 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 now. Funky chord A7, D7, funky chord from the beginning. On my way to your apartment, I write for fear of silence. You carved a boat to sail my shadow. Now I walk alone. Oh, okay. Alright. So that part, the alright, when I go, oh, it's A major barred chord, D, A, D, A, stay on A, stay on A. Then the weird part. I hit the sidewalk, and this is how it starts. Hide in the raincoat when things are falling apart. Okay, so now there's the okay, so that part. They also do this at the end, the right? So this part, it's like that D major 7, slide to C, A. Definitely going to be easier to do that slide on an electric guitar, but you could do it on an acoustic if you're feeling dangerous. So if you're like a rhythmic novice, strumming wise, something that's interesting and confusing, if you're watching me play when I do the, might be hard to tell what my hand's doing because I keep time with my hand. Like when you strum a complicated rhythm, it's kind of nice to have your hand doing an even thing, like a little metronome, like bum, 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 bum. I'm just singing it. That's not what it's doing. Like 1, 2, or 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, which is kind of what I'm doing here. 1 and 2 and 3. But I'm just not strumming that. I'm popping in to strum the parts that make sense. So it's like down, up, down, up, down. But the whole time I'm shaking my hand, even though I'm going down, up, down, up, down. It's just easier to lose track of time, I feel, when you're not physically maintaining your stride. You may feel differently about it, but I find that helps. It's like an interesting way to think about it, is keeping the time with your hand and then just strumming when it makes sense. So I'm down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, right? But I'm just wiggling the whole time. So don't get confused by how my hand looks. I'm doing down, up, down, up, down. Okay. It's hard to explain strumming on certain things. So hopefully you're understanding what I'm saying. So we have the alright, alright, alright. I hit the sidewalk, and this is how it do the transition back to the part. Things are falling. Okay, so things are falling apart. Sometimes we make mistakes. It's all right. So far, I hope that helps you out. The third verse, shall we call it? After leaving your apartment, I hit the coast by nightfall. So sure to keep you dreaming, you understood. Oh, it's now stays the same for this part. I know you understood. So again, if you're a rhythmic novice, this may be challenging to play and sing, but don't give up on it. Just take it really slow. And notice where your vocal rhythm and the guitar rhythm sync up and where they differentiate. Because when they differentiate, it's good to try to separate them in your mind. So just get the guitar part as down as possible. Get it as solid as you can till it's like almost second nature. And then that way when you sing over it, it'll be a little bit easier. And once you figure that out, just try not to overthink it, because overthinking it will make it worse, even though you do have to think about it a little bit. So frustrating, I know. So, okay. So, oh, I know you understood. Yes, sir, it shows I was no good. Ha ha. Alright. Alright, I hit the sidewalk, and this is how it starts. Hide in the raincoat when things are falling apart. 'Cause sooner or later, this is bound to stop. Same chords the whole time. Come on, let's save us while we're falling apart. Okay, so you could play along with that if you'd like. It's maybe a little too quick, but there you go. So the ending, it goes D7, C7, A. So this is in between that intro chord. Oh, Lord. So I'm sure some people who are more advanced guitarists than me might watch this and be like, oh, do a D major 7 instead of... Yeah, okay, everybody's going to do something different. You might want to change this up a little bit. Something might not quite sound right to you. Something might sound too difficult. Feel free to modify it as you see fit. But that's just the bones of the version that I do. It's based on the acoustic version that the band does. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you'd like me to make more tutorials of anything, and if I know how to play it, maybe I'll do it. And have a good day.